Okay, everybody, we're back, and welcome to part 2 of Ask the King for Thursday, December 12th, 2013, the holiday episode for 2013. Thank you for joining me. We got tons more questions, so let's get right back into it, shall we? All right. All right, here we go. Next question is from Hitman, and Hitman asks the following. He says, "Hey, Phil, I'm not sure if you've talked about this in the past or not, but what is the origin of the title Smart Guys?" Good question. Well, the answer is yes, I have. But I know that a lot of people have jumped on this year as new viewers of mine, and it is good from time to time to reiterate certain information. So, Smart Guys is the name of my ongoing pro wrestling commentary show that I do with my friend John Rambo. It's been going on for, I think, holy shit, over 3 years now. I think it's been going as long as Ask the King has, actually. We started them around the same time. And, excuse me, the word smark is a combination of two words, the word smart and the word mark. Now, for you to understand what those mean, I need to break it down. A mark in wrestling, all right, is a fan who basically, they say, marks out for something. And what it means is that you become almost like a diehard fanboy. So someone who's insanely crazy for John Cena, they bought the John Cena gear. They're wearing everything. They love John Cena. They follow him. They could quote every match he's ever had and every time that he won a title. That's a mark. He's a mark for John Cena. All right? Now, a smart mark is basically someone who, all right, you're a mark, meaning maybe you're a hardcore fan of wrestling. You followed wrestling for a long time. You enjoy it. But unlike the regular mark who you buy into everything, wow, John Cena's really Superman. And, Randy Orton's really the Viper. And I know that the Big Show, blah, blah, blah. It's like you buy into all the stuff, all the storylines. A smart mark is the kind of person that likes to be behind the scenes. Behind the scenes, you try to figure out, gee, why is it that Daniel Bryan, who was being pushed to the moon, all of a sudden was dropped and put into a side storyline? Why is it that this guy has really been off TV for 6 months? So a smart mark is someone who's a fan of wrestling but tries to get in there on the behind the scenes kind of stuff. All right? So when you combine the two, it becomes smart. So I'm a smart guy. I'm not a smart guy. I'm a smart guy. So it's almost like you think smart guy, you think, oh, it might be like a wise guy, right? And a smart aleck. That's kind of what we're getting at. Smart aleck fans of wrestling who want to talk about the behind the scenes stuff and give you our take on a weekly basis of what's going on. There you go. I hope that was a legitimate explanation for you, okay? Next question is from Muteki. Muteki asks the following. He says, "Hey, Phil, why don't you play Super Turbo anymore? Dom Dai told me that you and John stopped playing, and that's why Don't Blow This closed down. You should come by and play on GGPO sometime. I am a Guile player, and I get frustrated with Claw and Sim matches. Old Sagat is doable. Do you have any advice for those matchups? Do you think that Guile is good enough to play competitively, or should I consider switching? One idea is to use Chun-Li for the two bad matchups and Guile for the rest. Do you think it's viable?" Now, obviously, that was a lot of technical stuff right there, all right? Let me give you guys some background, especially if you are, again, this is another question that's kind of more geared towards people who maybe have just started watching my content in the past year or two. When I got started here on YouTube, all right, years and years ago, before I ever made a penny doing it, I was heavily into Street Fighter, primarily because Street Fighter 4 had just come out, and I was playing it heavily, but also I was very competitive with Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo. Now, Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo, or Super Turbo for short, is the game that I was the best at during my competitive Street Fighter career. I won multiple major tournaments for it, and one year I actually got 4th place at EVO, the Nationals, but the top 3 players were Japanese. So basically, I was considered the national champion for that year. Of course, there was, so much controversy and contention because we played on a console version of the game that most of the top Super Turbo players complained wasn't superior and wasn't arcade perfect, to which I said, well, I knew I wasn't playing the arcade version, which is why I practiced on the console one. You guys fooled yourselves, but I digress. There was a time, we're talking around 2009, early 2010, when I was regularly going over to Howard's house. Howard is my friend. He purchased 2 actual Japanese sit-down cabinets that were head-to-head and linked. And I'd go over there and play with players like Dom Dai, Howard, John Rambo. We had so many out-of-state players who visited us from time to time. And primarily the reasoning behind it was because for a couple of years, there was this invitational tournament in Japan called Super Battle Opera, or SBO for short. And we were attempting to to participate in that event. We had to actually enter a tournament and win it to qualify. So that was the way for all of us to play and practice. Now, I never qualified. John Rambo did, and he had the luxury of going to Japan and participating in this tournament. Dom Dai also did. And then pretty much after that year, it was kind of like it died out. Super Battle Opera completely changed their format. They no longer were playing arcade-only games, and Super Turbo was bumped, and they never had it back again. As of right now, Super Battle Opera is defunct. They went out of business because what happened was that year when they decided, oh, we're going to go from arcade style to console style, they decided to have an outdoor venue to have Street Fighter 4. And it was completely fucked. All the controls and everything was lagged. You couldn't see the screen because of the glare from the sun. It was a huge debacle, and everyone from the top to bottom, including Justin Wong, said, fuck this tournament, never go again, it sucks. And they went out of business. So right now, Super Battle Opera is defunct, okay? Now, afterwards, after that whole era of us practicing for Super Turbo, I had the option to continue traveling and playing because the thing was, there was kind of like a Super Turbo revival, and we were part of that. Don't Blow This was the name of our attempt to revive Super Turbo. We were playing it, we were live streaming it on Twitch TV. Actually, back then, I don't even know if it was Twitch yet or if it was still Justin TV. I'm not even sure. And so we were doing this. We were trying to get an interest in the arcade version of Super Turbo back. And we did. We succeeded. There was a huge resurgence. And now you can go to most major tournaments. They'll have Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo there in an arcade cabinet ready for you to play. So that was a positive outcome of our movement. However, basically John and I kind of said, there's no major tournaments really anymore. SBO's done. It's over. There's no other real major invitational tournament to go to besides they do have this one. I don't even know if they still have it anymore. I've forgotten the name of it in Japan, but you have to. It's very hard to get into. It's very hard to qualify for it, and we basically said, "Why are we doing this?" And if you remember, that 2010 year was the year when I lost my job, and I said I need to focus on other stuff. And even though Street Fighter has always been a part of what I do, I've never quit Street Fighter outright. I still play it from time to time. And next year, by the way, when Ultra Street Fighter 4 comes out, look for me to try to seriously play it. I am going to seriously put in effort to try to learn it. Now, I may fail and not end up giving it up, but I actually do want to try to get into competitive Street Fighter again, and I think that's going to be the game to do it, okay? You know, I don't see any reason. And it's funny. It's funny that this is a pertinent question to right now. Because I was just the other day on stream on Twitter. I got a tweet. And the tweet was from Howard. And then there was a tweet from my friend Walter. And they both tweeted from NEC, the big tournament. You know, and they were saying, hurrah, NEC, we're playing Super Turbo. And here it is, a picture of a Japanese cabinet with Dom Dai sitting at it playing it. And I kind of went like this. And I said, really? Like, really? Still, there's some people who like this is it. This is their escape. This is their hobby. And they enjoy just doing the same thing over and over and over. I used to be that kind of person, but even now I got to get to the point where I say I get bored of stuff. You know, Street Fighter 4 was great. Then they came out with 5 million versions of it to the point where you're like, it's enough. I want a new game. And Super Turbo is a great game. In my opinion, it's the best Street Fighter game of all time. And also, don't get me wrong, I get cravings. Every once in a while, I get a craving to play it. Unfortunately, there's no one to play against. No one plays the game online anymore, which was Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo HD Remix from several years ago. And I'm sorry, I'm not going to drive out of my way hours to go to NEC to play Super Turbo. And that's what I was kind of like this for. Like, I'm moving on with my life, right? You know, I've moved on. I've got bigger and better things going on. I've got a cool community of people who I interact with on a daily basis who follow me. And sure, I know you guys would probably love it if I went to a tournament and I was showing you all the gameplay that I did there, but do I need to go spend hundreds of dollars and drive across the country to go play Super Turbo again? No. And I don't really foresee at any point in my life me ever wanting to do that. The only reason I would ever do it is if there was, for some reason, they were saying this is either going to be like the final Super Turbo tournament ever, and we want every good player, whoever was in it, to be in it. Or if there was like an invitational of all-stars, and we said we want DSP to be in it because he was a major player in the Super Turbo game during, say, the mid-2000s. Then I would consider doing it. But outside of that, I'm not going to go to NEC to sit there in the same fucking Japanese cabinets playing the same game again. Like, why? I mean, it's fun for 5 minutes, maybe even for a couple hours, but that's not worth the fucking trip out there. You know what I mean? So unless there's another reason to do it, I'm going to get back into it. It's blasé at this point to me. I'd rather be here playing all the new releases and having fun and live streaming and doing all kinds of variety of stuff. Now, the second half of the question that he poses is about Guile in particular. And all I have to say is this. I was never a Guile expert. I know the matchups, but I'm not enough of a Guile expert to tell you whether or not he's viable in a tournament setting. You're going to want to ask one of the people who's a specialist in Guile, of which there are many in America. But I think that Super Turbo is definitively the game that if you play it enough and you learn every matchup, you could be good with every character. You can be overall a great player with any character in that game, and that, I know that's saying a lot, because a lot of games you can't. A lot of games there's always the characters that, man, they were really shit in this game and everyone else always dominated them. In Super Turbo, I feel, even though there are mismatches, you could be good with every character and you can win a match with every character. Alright, there you go. I just talked about that way too much, so I'll make the next question short, because guess what? It is a short question. The next question is from the Middle Finger, and he asks, well, I don't know if he's asking or flipping me off, but he says, "Hey Phil, did you hear that SGC 2014 has just been announced for July 11th through 13th at the Sheraton Dallas Hotel? I want to know, will you attend it next year?" Middle Finger, let me put it this way. Out of all the conventions that are possible in 2014, SGC is number one on my list, first of all, because last year they were so hospitable to us. We had a great time being there. I had a great time participating in the Iron Man of Gaming, which I don't know if they're going to have again. And they had us as guests. We had a panel and everything. It was great. So let me put it to you this way. I have not been contacted by them. I don't even know if I will be, because right now it's just in development stages. They don't even have the website up yet. It's just like a splash page and no info. I'm definitely interested in attending again. I am 100% interested in being a guest again. And I think that all of us that went last year had a blast to the point where we would all love to go back as well. And I say that for Panda Lee, John Rambo, OJ, and Carol Ann. So if they would like to have us back, 100% it's a yes. Those guys are class, top class people, grade A, you know what I mean? Real stand-up guys, and they're respectable people. And I respect Screw Attack, and I would love to re-attend. Now, by some reason, if they decide that they will not like us to be a guest at this event, it doesn't mean that we won't attend. It just means there may be a little bit of a lower chance, because maybe there will be other conventions coming up that would like to have us. And if our fans want to meet and interact and see a panel and stuff, obviously we want to jump on that more. But right now, SGC, number one on the list. Love to be back if they'll have us. I'll let you know more on that in the coming months, obviously, as more develops and they have more interest in getting guests and stuff signed up. I'll let you know, okay? All right, next question is from JokerCat8, and his question is this. He says, DSP, in one of your older Ask the King videos, you said you had an idea for a marathon of the worst games ever, such as playing Sonic from 2006, known as Sonic 06. Would you still consider doing it? Absolutely sure I would, but I would need to know if there's interest. Like, let's say that this month of January coming up, I'm going to be honest with everyone. There's next to nothing coming out. The things that are coming out, there's a free-to-play Soul Calibur game that I may dabble in a bit. I believe there's a possible HD re-release of Assassin's Creed, what the hell's the name of it? Liberation, which was the Vita game. I don't know if there's even interest in that. So this January, I'm going to have to try to figure out a way to occupy and entertain, or occupy my time and entertain you guys at the same time. There's a strong chance I'm going to be doing things like maybe doing a retro replay, like I said earlier already, of Blue Dragon, maybe, something like that. Or I may do a series like that. Like, the worst games of all time, I played Sonic 06. I wanted to fucking vomit. Like, I wanted to kill myself when I played the game. And this is funny because here's what happened. I bought my PlayStation 3 late. Excuse me, I bought it late. And when I bought it late, that's because I knew there were a few titles I wanted to pick up. And when I went to the store, I picked up Uncharted, which is amazing. I was like, wow. And I picked up Sonic 06, not knowing that it was a bad game. I really didn't know. I thought, wow, this is going to be the rebirth of Sonic. And I played it for like an hour to an hour and a half. I couldn't believe it. There's this one part, and if you've played the game, you probably know what I'm talking about. There's this one part where there's like a loop-de-loop that's over water. I couldn't do it. And the thing is, if you die, if you drown in the water, you have to replay like 5 minutes of gameplay because the checkpoints are so poor. I couldn't pass this part of the game. I would just run up the loop, and you can't really control Sonic when he does the loop-de-loop. He'd run off the loop, fly into the ocean, fucking drown, replay 5 minutes of gameplay. Get there, oh, here we go. All right, this time I'm going to hold to the right. He goes slightly more right. Nope, there he goes, runs right off the ramp, into the water. He drowns like this. I got to fucking replay again. I was like, I'm going to do it. I got to concentrate. Because maybe that's what it is. Maybe I'm just dicking around and playing too casually. So this time I hit the ramp at a better angle. Wow, he's making it. He's making it. Looks like he's going to make it. He's going to make it. He runs off the ramp. He fucking drowns. I'm fucking have to replay. I said, fuck this. I'm not playing this game anymore. And I took it out and I fucking threw it across my room. And I was just so pissed. It's one of those games. And there's tons of those games. Would people like to see me play that? I don't know. You know what I mean? So we'll see what happens. If you're interested in seeing me do stuff like that, let me know. Okay? All right. Up next, question from Quattro. Ooh, si, Quattro. Ooh. All right, hold on. Oh, this one's directly related, but I'm going to change it up a little bit. Quattro asks, he says, hey, Phil, quick question I'd like to ask you. Can we expect any retro gaming weeks in 2014 since not much new game release dates have been confirmed yet? Well, first of all, I can tell you right now, February and March, all of a sudden, it's like I made my gaming schedule update, and all of a sudden some more dates were revealed, and it looks like for February and March at least, I'm probably going to have enough content to get me through and not have to worry about not having enough stuff to play, okay? January looks empty, and for the rest of the year, there's no release dates yet. So the answer is, would I consider playing more retro games? Absolutely. Now the question is, what are those retro games going to be? Would people like to see me play something like Resident Evil 2 and 3? All right. One of the ones that I had an idea for was God of War. I played that one this year. It was a huge flop, so I don't know if anyone wants to see me play God of War 2. Do you want to see me play Jak 2, Ratchet and Clank 2, the games that I forego and skip? Do you want to see me play Devil? Oh, God, here we go. Devil May Cry 3, which, by the way, was a candidate all year this year for Retro Replay, yet never won a poll. That's the thing. Everyone, oh, I want to see Devil May Cry. I'm dying to see Devil May Cry. Play Devil May Cry. We want to see Devil May Cry. I put it in my polls for people to vote, and it never even broke like third place. It's like, what the fuck? For me, sorry, I keep burping. I don't know what to play anymore. I don't know what people want to see and what people would watch. A lot of the times when I was playing more retro games this year, all people did was complain. This isn't new content. This game's old. You play shit games. I'm not watching this. It's like, if that's your attitude, seriously, what an attitude to have. So you're only going to watch brand new games, but I bet you'll also watch Minecraft and Call of Duty. You know what I mean? And you won't whine about that. But God forbid someone played classic that really was a game that was groundbreaking and started a whole era of gaming. No, you don't want to see that. You want to see the new garbage. All right, you know, it's so ridiculous to me. Sometimes I just think maybe I should have been one of these Call of Duty players where I play Call of Duty every fucking day, all day, and I make one montage video a week and I talk over it, and it gets 1 million views. Like, wow, what effort those guys fucking put into it, right? But that's what I should have done, right? You know, be like everyone else? No, I'm not like everyone else. I'm going to play what I want to play. So there is a chance that I will do more retro gaming and retro marathons come 2014. In fact, there's an incredibly strong chance because I still have a lot of the games I didn't get a chance to go back and play. Now, I do have an addendum to this. I know a lot of people are going to find this controversial. A lot of people are going to be up in arms about this shit, all right? I know. I'm expecting it right now. Even in the stream chat, people are going to be pissed. So here we go. As of this week, with all the nonsense going on YouTube with content ID matches, the one game developer who every video I've uploaded of their content has now been flagged and all of the rights of those videos have been taken away from me is Nintendo. Okay, now let me continue my statement. It is unclear as of this moment whether or not this was intentional, whether it wasn't intentional, whether Nintendo will be enforcing. And what I mean by that is on all these videos, I've disputed them. And Nintendo has 30 days to respond. If they respond within 30 days, basically that's it. Any video that I put out of Nintendo is going to be their property, and basically I'm working for free. Okay? Now, there's a possibility that either they will relinquish their claim on these videos, or they just won't respond. If they just don't respond, what I may have to do is in the future when I play Nintendo content say, well guys, we'll be live streaming it today, but you have to wait 30 days to see the playthrough because Nintendo's going to have this content ID match and they don't respond to claims, so you'll see it in a month's time. And I know that's stupid as hell. It sounds absolutely dumb, but that's what YouTubers are going to have to do from now on because of this new system instituted by YouTube. Now, I'm going to say this. Right now, John Rambo and I were smack dab in the middle of a Super Mario Bros. 3D World co-op playthrough. As of right now, every single part of that playthrough was content ID matched to Nintendo, and no credit whatsoever has been given to that playthrough for your views. Since that happened, I removed the playlist from my YouTube channel, and at this point, I will speak with John Rambo. We will not be continuing on that playthrough at this time. We need to sit and see what's going to happen with this content ID. Now, the reason I know some of you are up in arms, oh my God, Phil always says he plays games for fun. Now he's just going to stop playing Nintendo games because he can't make money on it? Yes, because this is not just my hobby, dummy. This is my job. If this were 2010 and for 1 to 2 hours a day, I just sat on the couch with a camera and was recording gameplay, I didn't give a fuck if I made any money on it because I didn't care. I had a full-time job to support me. I need to do things that are going to support me. I'm trying to move next year. I'm trying to get my fucking back fixed. It would be a stupid move to do full playthroughs of games that I don't make anything on because, let's face it, I now have direct capture equipment. It's a lot of work to set up my internet and everything to live stream, to get the videos uploaded to YouTube, and to do it as much as I do, as well as I do. All right? It's work. And yes, of course I'm having fun while I'm doing it. I wouldn't dispute that, but it's work regardless. And so all these idiots who, oh, now YouTubers, we're happy about the YouTube Content ID system because YouTubers have to get real jobs now. You are the most pathetic losers on the planet fucking Earth. Because we found a way to take our passion for something and turn it into a way to make money. You don't consider that real work? Fuck you, you little jealous pricks. That's all I have to say to that. You're so belittled. You're so insignificant. And the fact that we were creative enough to figure stuff out and you weren't, that's something to say about you, not us. So for you to be such dicks about people who make money on YouTube, it's preposterous. So I, knowing that this is my business, need to do things that, yes, I'm having fun doing. And yes, I do enjoy playing Nintendo games, but if I can't do it and also make money, let's face it, John Rambo, do you think that if he wasn't making some money on the stuff that he does playthroughs with me, that he'd be driving 3 hours every time that he comes to visit? He drives an hour and a half here, an hour and a half home those days. That's a lot of driving. That's a lot of work. All right? We work hard to make this stuff happen. People don't seem to realize it's not just two guys who live next door. They just come plop on the couch and start playing a game. It's not like that. It takes a lot of coordination, a lot of hard work, a lot of time, a lot of money investment this year with all the equipment that I did to do direct capture. All right? So it's not what you think. It's not Joe Nobody just plopping down on their couch to play a game. That being said, until this content ID thing gets figured out, all content of Nintendo is on suspend, and I mean it. And if I'll tell you right this, if the content is not going to be released, then I'm not going to continue to make more content for Nintendo. And it's not just me saying this. If you watch that Rev3 Games podcast that was on last night, pretty much everyone on that podcast, from the guy from Far From Settle, from Total Biscuit, from other YouTubers just like me who are on there, they're all collectively saying, fuck it. You know, we're putting hard work into it. It's our creative content because our gameplay makes it a transformative work. It's free advertisement for you. You're not going to get the credit. Here's the thing, and this is the problem. If Nintendo reached out and said, we would like a cut, all right? We would like a cut of the ad revenue because we have a part to do with what you're doing. I don't think anyone would say, fuck you then. I think we'd say, fine, you deserve a cut. Sure, you made the software that we're using to make an artistic work. Maybe you deserve a cut. Fine. But not, fuck you, we're going to steal all the revenue. That's ridiculous corporate greed, and we're not going to put up with it as gamers. So fuck that. Officially, as of right now, no more Nintendo content until this whole thing gets cleared up. If Nintendo does not clear it up and all Nintendo videos are claimed from now on, I will not be doing any more Nintendo content. In fact, if they do make a definitive statement, I swear to God, I will smash my Wii U on camera and defecate on it. I will. That's right. Because that's what I think of them. If that's the attitude they're going to take to this community who basically advertised their games for free for years and made them famous. Now they're going to shit on us? No. I'm going to shit on you. That's my attitude. All right? So, that being said, I know a lot of retro games that people might have wanted to see me play with Nintendo on hold as of right now. And there's nothing I could do about it. If I could fix that, I would. They're on hold for now. And it's not just me. It's pretty much a ton of YouTubers are all saying the same thing. We're just not going to put up with your bullshit. Okay. All right. So it looks like it's now actually, taking a look here, time for another break. And it's time for me to actually, I think, yeah, I do. I need more water. I'm going to get some more water. If you're watching this on YouTube, just jump ahead to the next part. If you're watching this on Twitch, I'll be right back in a few short minutes, and we'll continue on. I have tons of questions left. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back.